Following the victory in the Civil War, Orestes, son of Agamemnon, was crowned the uncontested king of Mycenae, securing loyalty from most of the Peloponnesian rulers. The new Mycenaean king, however, would soon be met with another challenge, this time coming from outside of his realm. The descendants of legendary Heracles, commonly known as the Heracleidae, were once again ready for yet another attempt to seize the Peloponnesian peninsula for themselves. The first few years of Orestes' rule seem to have been those of consolidation, as the Mycenaean king worked on securing pledges of loyalty from various local kings and rulers. Besides Laconia and Arcadia, the region of Messenia, ruled by the Neleid dynasty, was traditionally allied to Mycenae, which enabled Orestes to hold sway over virtually all of Peloponnese, something that his predecessor, Augustus, was not even close to achieving. Orestes married Menelaus' daughter Hermione, by whom he had a son and heir, Tisamenus. His other son, Pentheus, was said to have been born by Erigone, the daughter of his deceased rival Augustus, and Orestes' own mother, Clytemnestra. Although Peloponnese was now under the firm grip of Orestes, the general situation in Hellas, however, was not that of stability and prosperity, and the days of one supreme ruler exercising hegemony over all of Greece were long gone. In this power vacuum, many of the regions, especially those to the north, were left to themselves, which gave the opportunity to many tribal rulers and their followers to establish their own power and even come to rival the Achaean kings to the south. One of those regions was Aeolis, one of the first places where the old Achaean order collapsed under the pressure of northern Greek tribes associated with people that later came to be known as the Dorians. This situation, according to the ancient tradition, was further exploited by the Heracleidae, a clan tracing its ancestry to Heracles himself. As the previous two expeditions led by Heracles' son Hylas failed, it was now Hylas' son Cleodias that emerged as the main northern warlord, aiming to invade Peloponnese and seize the throne of Mycenae for himself. The third Heracleid expedition was said to have been launched during the reign of Orestes, a yet another war between the remnants of the Mycenaean Greece to the south and the legendary Dorian ancestors of the north. This invasion, unfortunately, seemed to have been the most poorly attested among the Heracleid campaigns, as we do not have any details other than the defending Achaeans ultimately emerging victorious and King Orestes remaining in power. However, this war did appear to have come at great cost to Mycenae as well, as its power from this time seemed to be permanently crippled and never to be fully rebuilt. It is unknown whether or not the Dorians constituted a part of the Peloponnesian population in the earlier times, but they did seem to establish their first pockets during the reign of Orestes. According to the Sicyonian king list, after the death of Agamemnon, the ruler of Sicyon was not Orestes, but a Dorian chieftain named Phalkes. The city of Sicyon did indeed contain both Ionian and Dorian factions in the historical times, the former being a remnant of the earlier Achaeans, and the latter tracing its origins to Phalkes and his followers. That this conflict and the subsequent events do hold at least some historical background can also be confirmed by the archaeological evidence, which shows that shortly after 1200 BCE, the palace centers such as Mycenae, Medea, and Pylos were destroyed by fire. It is also from this time that the Mycenaean Linear B records virtually ceased to exist. Among the last of the tablets, those from Pylos, dated to the early 12th century BCE, mentioned the hastily defense preparations, shortly followed by the destruction of the city and the subsequent end of the Linear B writing system. The Achaeans, however, did seem to have survived this wave of destruction, as a rebuilding attempt was immediately initiated at Mycenae, while the nearby citadel of Tiryns was expanded from 10 to 15,000 inhabitants, suggesting an Achaean population move from an endangered to the safer palace. From this point on, we solely rely on the ancient oral tradition, which in the absence of written records was passed through the generations until the establishment of the Greek alphabet several centuries later. King Orestes was therefore credited with a long reign, during which he remained the chief ruler on the Peloponnese. Elsewhere, however, the new tribal warlords and their followers were replacing and displacing what was left of the old Achaean order. The region of Iolis was among others eventually overrun by the tribes originating from Epirus, and the land they conquered subsequently became known as Thessaly. The exiled Aeolians found shelter in the region of Boeotia, which itself was suffering from the immense pressure coming from the north, with the city of Thebes already having suffered severe destruction. It is said that it was none other than Orestes who initiated the first colonization campaigns, consisting of the Aeolian exiles and led by the Mycenaean princes and their descendants into Asia Minor. The first among those was an expedition led by Orestes' son Pentheus, reportedly aimed towards Thracia and eventually reaching the island of Lesbos. Those campaigns, however, are something that we will go through in more detail in some of the future episodes. According to the ancient tradition, Orestes died in Arcadia, either from a snake bite or old age, after having ruled his kingdom for many decades. The exact dates for what would have been Orestes' reign are difficult to determine. According to the chronology established by Eratosthenes regarding the dating of the Trojan War, as well as the later reign of Orestes' son Tisamenus and the subsequent colonizations and other related events, the death of Orestes could be tentatively placed to somewhere around 1124 BCE. Orestes of Hermione's son, Tisamenus, succeeded his father on the throne of Mycenae, Tiryns, Argos, and Sparta, and was the final Achaean ruler before the definite collapse of the Mycenaean Greece. Those events are definitely something that will be covered on this channel in the near future, so make sure to stay tuned. Please consider subscribing and sharing the video, as this is a one-person production and it greatly helps the visibility of the channel. Special thanks to History with Sai, Nico, Panayotis Yiannopoulos, Fred Lecky, and Estate Care for their continuous support. If you wish to become a Patreon member, please click the link in the video description. This was WanaxTV, and we'll see you again soon.